Short version is we were all going to go see Club Dread. Yada, yada, yada. I end up in jail. They all go to the movie while I'm in jail.
What were we supposed to do?
Welcome back, everyone, to S1E1, a show where each week we pick a different sitcom, watch just the first televised episode, and forgetting anything we might know about the feature run of that show, rate it and decide if it's a show we want to greenlight or cancel. This week we're going to be talking about Maniac Mansion. Maniac Mansion went 66 episodes over 3 seasons on the Family Channel in the US and YTV in Canada. Today we're talking about episode 1, which is called the 10th Anniversary Special, originally airing September 14th, 1990. So to get things started, I'm Jay Gags. With me, as always, the boys, most of the boys, Berg, Gordo, and Nick. No Joe this week. What's going on, guys?
Heyo.
Hello. Hey, I'm so mad Joe doesn't have to watch this.
Where is Joe this week?
Yeah, Joe wanted to be here. Unfortunately, they went and got some Chinese food, and I don't know, he's going through like a weird thing, and his fortune cookie basically said something about like warding off like things like in your near future, and he's currently bunkered in his basement right now and is literally afraid to come upstairs. I don't know. We told him it's silly, but it is what it is.
Yeah, he's a strange goat.
That he is.
Welcome. It's not episode 2, week 2 of the unofficially named Spooky Dookie month, year 5.
Spooky
Dookie.
This show is awfully spooky.
No, this is awfully
You could have
dookie.
just stopped at awful.
Maniac Mansion sounds like it could be a real spooky show.
It's definitely weird. Let's give you that much.
So I didn't know this show existed.
Me either.
I had heard of the game. Obviously, this is based on the game Maniac Mansion, which was like a Lucasfilms game. Barely, but in name and by concept, like it was supposed to be, I guess. Yeah, I never played the game. I'll be completely honest, but I feel like you guys are more familiar. I was always, I think, out of the group, probably played the least amount of video games. So
we played at Gordo's house a lot. We always had to go
All
to his
the
sister's
time.
room because his sister had the Nintendo for some reason.
Yeah.
Gordo had the Sega and his sister had the Nintendo.
I remember playing video games in her room. Actually. But like I guess like games just don't stand out to me as much like when I look back. So
this game, I remember the name, and I remember my 2 cousins like really being into it. So I was, of course, into it. They were older than me, and it was weird. It was just a weird like puzzle game.
I wouldn't call it a puzzle game.
But it was like a puzzle game. It was like you had to like figure out how to. We were like what 5, 6 when this came out, so it was a puzzle. And I remember, I think I played for like 4 hours straight, and then I died and got everybody killed. And then I think you can't resurrect people.
But you can die as anyone except for Dave. If they're dead, they're dead. But if Dave dies first, the game's just over.
So yeah, the online synopsis of this game, for anybody who doesn't remember or never played it, is it's a 1987 graphic adventure video game developed and published by Lucasfilms Games. It follows was Lucas Games not available? Lucasfilms Games is weird. Anyways, it follows teenage protagonist Dave Miller as he attempts to rescue his girlfriend Sandy Pants from a mad scientist whose mind has been enslaved by a sentient meteor. Google it. I mean, you can see what it looks like and stuff. It's just like your typical late 80s Nintendo game.
It was originally for the Commodore 64, and then they ported it to the Nintendo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I remember, like I said, when I saw there was like a brief video I sent you guys that was like 2 hours long of like the guy beating it with every character.
Ew.
Yeah, can you stop sending us videos of guys beating it? Because it's weird.
You guys said that you liked it.
So I think it's important to note that so this game exists already, and then the idea comes up to adapt it into a television show, and Eugene Levy is the person who is approached to do so. And I guess when the idea for this show came up, it was the idea of making like a more Munsters, Addams Family type show. And he basically scrapped that, started from scratch. Eugene Levy, obviously, legend, comes from SCTV, kind of recruits a lot of the SCTV writers. Obviously, the star of the show is Joe Flaherty, who also comes from SCTV. They take a completely different approach towards it. And now this show is the result of that, but because they kind of went rogue, there's really no similarities other than Joe Flaherty's character is like mimicked from someone in the game, and
it's the same last name.
He's the grandson.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the game it's Dr. Fred, and this one it's Dr. Ed.
No, he's Dr. Fred.
It said Ed in the credits.
Really? He's listed as Dr. Fred.
So you have to assume, right, that this was only tried to make this into a TV show because of its association with George Lucas, right? If this was just like a Bandai game, there's no chance we'd be watching this show.
I mean, I guess, but it's not like they put that much in it. You could tell, like, it's not like this has, granted, keep in mind, it's 1990. It's, so, like, you're not going to get, like, modern day crazy graphics, but it's not a lot of budget went into this. It just seems like they licensed out the name and kind of left it there.
See, it looks like, so also, like, I think we should kind of preface that this isn't a sitcom.
No.
It's not, I mean, maybe technically it's a sitcom, but the way it's shot, the way it feels, it's not sitcom-y at all. It's very theatrical.
It's a family-style sitcom.
I'll get into it later. I think after we're done with the episode, I have a little bit to say about it, and that's kind of it'll fit more there. Yeah, no, it's got a little bit of a different vibe, but not too different from other stuff we've covered.
Yeah, this show to the video game is like what the Mario Brothers movie was to Mario Brothers the video game. There's nothing in common other than the names. And then the meteor is mentioned in the credits. It's on one of the newsreels. The meteor is what takes over his brain in the video game, which makes him the antagonist in the game, but he's a protagonist in this show.
The first bit of trivia for this show, I don't know if you guys have read it, is the show's events take place about 20 years after the video game's time frame. Fred Edison is the son of the character Weird Ed. It is believed he was named Fred after the character Dr. Fred. Like his grandfather, Fred Edison is also a doctor, although what his doctorate is unclear. It is believed that by now the characters in the game are presumably deceased and have willed the mansion and its scientific equipment to Fred Edison. So this is a 20-year sequel to the game, which is such a weird thing to do. Such an incredibly weird thing to do.
They also don't make that clear.
Was Eugene Levy going through like a phase?
No, I mean, if you know SCTV humor, like a lot of the humor they're going with is it goes with SCTV style humor. The thing is, like, for what you're expecting out of this show, it doesn't link up. And then you got to remember too, like, again, this is a show that existed 35 years ago. Mostly, it aired simultaneously here in Canada and on different networks. But it's a Canadian group. 35 years ago, it's a different style of humor than what we're kind of accustomed to.
Yeah.
And then it's very unconventional as far as sitcoms, and we're adding in elements of like supernatural stuff. So, I mean, there's all these different things, and it's just, the vibe of this is very, it's tough to really give it a fair comparison to something else because it is very unique in a lot of ways. I do want to mention before we get any further too, if this is a show you're interested in watching, the entirety of it, the entire 3-season run is available online through like the Internet Archive. You can watch every single episode if you want. And then IMDb has this clocked in as a 6.9. So it's fairly well, it's fairly well, we'll get into it. I think this is going to be one of those shows where the pilot doesn't speak for the rest of the show just based on what little I know. And I will say this is based on me not watching any other episodes. 3 seasons too, by the way. Like for a show
that blows my mind.
It's 66 episodes.
Me too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For a show that had 3 seasons at that stage of our lives where we're young, but it's like a goofy Halloween-y type show based on a video game. I'm surprised that we just didn't know it existed because it was on the Family Channel. Like it was, you know what I mean? Like we had access to this show how did we not know it existed? It aired here for 3 seasons.
Wasn't it also a movie?
No.
I don't think so, no.
I want to get into the show itself. I don't even know. It's like I said, it's so unique. I don't even know if it's going to take a long time or not to talk about it. So I want to jump into it just in case. Right off the bat, we get the intro. The intro, we see a camera. It's like panning across all these newspapers and family photos. And the song is a theme that is created for the show because they're saying Maniac Mansion in it. It's like an upbeat kind of piano-y song. I don't know what, like right off the bat with this intro, like with this song, I don't know what to make of what kind of show this is supposed to be.
I feel like they're going for a Rocky Horror intro type of thing.
I could see that.
I can see that comparison, but also I'm thinking it's supposed to be like it's a family sitcom unintentionally. The fact that there's supernatural aspects is supposed to almost be like a footnote, you know what I mean? And not like, so they're trying to almost act like that's not abnormal and it's just a regular old sitcom.
Which is kind of how Addams Family does it, right? They make it's more in your face, but it's still, that's how they treat it.
I feel like the Munsters does a better job with that. The Munsters is almost like, they're like, oh, that's weird. they're very like, I guess they both do in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to make of the theme song. Like, I actually thought I was watching the wrong show at first.
I didn't like it. I'll just say,
I thought I was watching the wrong show a few times.
I was thinking about this too as we were watching. There's this time period for some reason, the early 90s. Some of the things that we watch, just like, you know how you have like there are foods you don't like because of their like consistency or their texture or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of these shows like have that like visual feel to me. Like it could be a great show, but like I can't get over how much I dislike it visually.
I've noticed too, like of the group, you struggle the most with watching old shows that are like green.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something like I have a real struggle. This one, I mean, we'll get to it, but and it's not even just the quality.
Aesthetically, yeah, it's very dark too. Like, yeah.
Especially at the beginning of this episode, a lot of it is like a stage play. The way like the lights cue and stuff, and that's by design, as we know.
Yeah.
We'll get into that, but like I was like, this is weird. Did we download the right thing?
Yeah.
Especially when they get into the 10-year thing, I'm like, wait a minute, what did I miss something?
I spent a lot of this episode confused. We'll talk about it. So yeah, intro ends. It ends, by the way, with we see like some sort of a fly with a human head like waving at us and flying off. So I guess that's the first indicator that like this is going to be something a bit abnormal. And then we get to the first scene and the camera's panning like across this science lab and we see the title of the show pop up. It says the 10th anniversary special, the name of the episode. And I'm like, is this like a show about a show? Is this like the Tool Time to Home Improvement? Like, I don't know what's going on at this point.
Me too.
They don't do a good job of making you feel comfortable with what you're watching.
No, I mean, it's so tough because this is like one of those shows where almost everything is reliant on the last scene. And it's tough to not spoil that and talk about this episode, but I want to kind of be able to talk about it and how I felt in the moment as I'm taking it in. Yes.
It's very ambitious to do for your pilot episode.
Yeah, it is.
Because I'm not saying it's the right decision or the wrong decision, but it messed with me.
Yes.
To put it into perspective, though, it's the equivalent of, do you remember like the Friends episode where they do the flashback of like what ifs? And like Monica's still fat, Joey's a successful actor, like, and they just go through. It's like if they did that for the first episode of Friends, and it's just it's tough to talk about right now. So we'll get into it more later.
Yeah, this is a unique situation. The show's already like in itself for what it is like different, and then the way they approached episode 1 is a whole separate can of worms. So we're going across the lab and we hear snoring, and eventually the camera moves to Dr. Fred, and that's played by Joe Flaherty. Again, I mentioned him earlier. Comedically, like legend, SCTV. I think most people remember him as the jackass guy from Happy Gilmore. Unfortunately, he passed a year ago.
Also, the dad from Freaks and Geeks.
I don't, it's weird though, because I feel like Freaks and Geeks became such a bigger show after the fact that it's one of those.
We did that, right?
No, because I'm still
No.
borderline if we can cover it or not.
We did. Oh, you're right. We didn't do it.
Undeclared, which is like the unofficial sequel too.
Right.
But no, but like Freaks and Geeks wasn't appreciated when it was on live. You know what I mean? It was one of those like had the after effect thing. So
Okay.
but Happy Gilmore is such a, I mean, he was what's the right word? Memorialized within the sequel that just came out recently with Happy Gilmore 2. And Eminem plays his son. That's now canon. So
Oh, that's good. I still haven't seen the second one.
that's a whole separate discussion we'll talk off air about. But
Do we know if you saw the first one?
Yes. It's all in the hips. All in the hips.
so afterwards, it cuts to him and his wife now, and they're face to face talking to one another, but like the entire background is black. So it's like visually it's a very weird way to get down. Like I don't know what's going on because this is obviously not normal conversation. Why is it all black and it's just their faces? They're talking to each other about how they've reached their 10th anniversary special. And they're talking about like, who would have thought when we did our first show that we'd still be here 10 years later and how lucky they are. And, you know, they're talking about like how young the kids were when they first started. And did you guys notice, by the way, the names of the kids are
No.
Ike, Tina, and Turner? So it's Ike and Tina Turner,
Yeah.
which is so fucking random.
Sure is.
I thought that was funny. Just
I
like
thought it
as
was
a
funny.
eyebrow raiser.
Is it funny for the right reasons, though? Or is
Yeah.
it just funny because it shouldn't be funny?
It's stupid funny. And they talk about, you know, Harry and Idella, which is like the uncle and aunt to I think it's like Frank's brother and his wife. They talk about how great everything's been, and then you cut to the daughter who's like way behind them, like almost like a spotlight hits, and you just see her like in the middle of a stairwell.
Yeah, like Romeo and Juliet. Like it was weird.
Like any play.
Play setup, yeah. And because it was all black until the spotlight hits. She goes, "Mom, I hate your approach to motherhood." It's like it's a weird thing to say. They just go like, "Well, that'll be me," the mom, in response, and then they tell us to enjoy the show, we the viewer. And the camera moves in, and they do the quick gag, by the way, like as the camera's moving in, it hits Fred, and you go, "Ow!" But then the lights turn on, and now we see the full set of the house, which is, I guess it's a house, but it doesn't quite look like a house.
It's a mansion.
Yeah. It doesn't even look like a mansion. It looks like they live in a giant warehouse. Like for a show that's called Maniac Mansion, I think they failed to make their living area truly look like a mansion.
But man, if you saw the next room,
I was going to say, we haven't gone into the room with the blue nurse.
he's right. We didn't get put in the dungeon.
All of this video game reference, and as we've said, not in any way applicable to the show itself.
Come on, Jay, don't be a tuna head.
But that's the thing. I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute. Tina, who's the daughter, starts walking down the steps. She's saying how, like, she can't believe what's going on. Why can't she bring Jose to dinner tonight? Like, basically, like, they're all going out to dinner. Her boyfriend can't go, and she's upset about it. Her mom's like, "Tina, this is our 10th anniversary dinner. It's a very special night for the family, but it's a family thing. And sometimes family takes priority over people like Jose, who I'm sure is a very nice person, but he wasn't written into the restaurant scene." "Oh, well, nobody told me." And like, so she like doesn't mind.
I don't like the breaking the fourth wall in this.
So yeah,
Yeah.
now I'm like, huh? So it's a show, and they're just self-aware that it's a show. Is it like when we did like it's Gary Shandling's show? Is it like that where it's just they're self-aware at all times?
I have no idea. I just don't know.
I also extra don't know because of the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand what they're trying to do.
So then after that, we start seeing everyone else kind of re-enter the scene. Frank comes back. He's telling them they're going to be late. And we see Turner as he walks down the stairs. And Turner is a 4-year-old in a giant adult man's body, which just, like, he's a big dude too. So it just comes off really creepy because he's acting like a baby essentially the whole time.
Yeah, he scared me. This was the spooky.
Yeah.
Like, just the way his portrayal, he looks like the guy who shot himself in a Full Metal Jacket.
He does kind of look like that.
Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yeah, that's who he reminds me of.
I could see that, yeah.
I suppose similar builds.
Similar build, his mannerisms, the way that like he's putting his head down and stuff. Like,
Are you thinking of his character in Men in Black?
no, I'm thinking of him in Full Metal Jacket.
That better.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah, the guy, the dude in the human skin who like walks around. He's like the farmer. in Men
Wait,
in
Sugar
Black.
Water guy's the guy that got like.
It's Vincent D'Onofrio.
He's the guy who got like
D'Onofrio.
hit with all the bars of soap in Full Metal Jacket.
I haven't seen Full Metal Jacket in probably 30 years.
That's what made him go crazy. Is they like he fucks up and then they put like they like gag him with like a pillowcase and then they all beat
They
him with like
beat the shit out of him with soap.
they put soap in their pillowcase and whip him with it.
Oh yeah, yes, that's him.
No,
I had no
shit.
idea.
Same character or same actor.
Yeah, I did not imagine. He died, comes back as Sugar Water alien. Wow, I had no idea that was the same guy. Good for him. He got in shape.
Yeah, he really got into shape. Okay.
That's not like the first time he's done that too. He'll change his body size for roles like crazy.
Meanwhile, I can't do it for health and longevity.
He was Kingpin, and then he was also in the movie what's it called Adventures in Babysitting, and he's super thin in that, and he had to get like big for his next role. I forget what movie it was.
I mean, it's a lot easier when you can afford the
That's your job.
personal trainers 7 days a week and have somebody cook for you. And
In any event, he is not in this show. So George Booza plays Turner here.
George Booza.
And he comes down. He's like, Dad, I don't chew gum, huh? He's like, no, next year when you're 5. When I'm 5, I can blow bubbles? Yeah, believe me, you'll be blowing bubbles the size of the Astrodome. And the other son walks in. Like, the other son is obviously notably the youngest, but he's the middle child, technically, because of his adult man-baby brother. And he's, like, always in, like, a leather jacket or whatever. And can we get this show on the road? I'm hungry.
Little Fonzie wanting his soup.
He's got a little bit of a Little Fonzie vibe.
They could have easily made him a character from the game.
yeah,
It's very similar
Yeah.
to one of them.
They could have easily made this whole family characters from the game.
Where's Weird Ed and Nurse Edna?
Yeah.
and look, and like, I have no idea who any of these people are, but you know, the next two people we meet are like the uncle and the aunt, right? Like, you could be subbing these characters for those characters and try to tie this stuff
Right.
in a little bit.
Yeah.
more. Like I said, they walk in, same thing. Only bear in mind, the uncle is a fly. He's the person we saw in the intro. So the uncle is a fly with a human head. He's fly size. He's not like a giant fly. And they do the thing whenever he talks where like they pitch change his voice, which just makes it hard to understand what he's saying at all times.
this character, it was a choice. They made a choice here, and I'm not sure it was the right one.
That wasn't in the game.
Well, I mean, we get to see him in a little bit. We get a flashback where we do meet his like pre-fly self. I think his character would have been better suited for the show in human form, but you know, that's I guess to be said.
I thought he was the same character as the dad.
What?
Yeah, what?
They're on screen at the same time.
I thought they were the same person when they did the flashback.
You thought Joe Flaherty played the fly as well? He was just playing.
Oh, you thought in the flashback that he was that character.
Correct.
What you're saying? Okay.
Oh no, that would mean you weren't listening when you were watching. But anyways, so they're all going out to dinner. By the way, I thought this was interesting because it's just, you don't hear this getting Thai food, but they're saying like, we're going out for Taiwanese food. Like, you never hear anyone say like, we're going for Taiwanese food.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically it's.
Thailand, isn't it?
Oh yeah, good point. Actually,
Taiwan is the country, and Thailand, that usually like Thai food is Thailand.
You got me there. It is
Yeah.
different.
yeah.
All I know is Jack Talk Thai.
So what's Taiwanese food?
Taiwanese food? I don't know what Taiwanese food is.
Sorry to all our Taiwanese listeners.
It would just. I mean, you could get into the discussion of this politically, but it would just be Chinese food.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, skipping right through this before I say something I shouldn't. I just feel like the more we guess, the more we're going to say things that just make us. Well, I've already said enough dumb things, but before I dig myself into a hole here. So before they leave or attempt to leave, there's this point where he's doing an impression where he's like holding his ears out, and you can tell by his voice he's doing an impression, but I couldn't clock what it was. I felt like he was almost doing like a late night guy, but like I just didn't know who he was doing. And I don't know if it was a Canadian thing or a 1990 thing where it went over my head.
This entire show, it's mind-boggling. How often I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I feel like they're going to explain this later. They never do. It's just so weird. It's like 3 different shows like were taped at the same time and they like cut them together the wrong way. Like they like everything fell on the floor and they were like, oh fuck, and they had to like put it back together, but it just like never fit the right way, but they ran with it anyways. This show makes my brain itch.
This was a super confusing show to watch.
It's hands down the most confused I've been from start to finish on a show we've watched.
They go to leave, and as they open the door, you have like this like dude standing at the doorway with a clipboard, and he's informing them like, hey guys, you guys can't leave. We're spraying for flies right now, or med flies. He's like, I thought med flies were only on the West Coast. He's like, we're not taking any chances. And you cut to like the uncle who is a fly, who's like nervous, like spray, like, so he's scared. They shut the door, and then it's like, oh, well, we're not going to be able to go out to eat. So now what are we going to do for this 10th anniversary special? And they're talking very like, again, like fourth wall break. And they're saying like, well, let's watch old movies. And like, oh, there's a ratings grabber. And the only thing I could think of was like, so they're going to make episode 1 at this point. I'm like, all right, so it's going to be like a clip show. And then I was kind of thinking about the Clerks cartoon that did that in the second episode where they did a clip show and just kept cutting back to like episode 1 and things that never happened.
I mean, it's definitely a swing for something different. I'll give them that.
If they were using clips, and they did it a little bit when we got a flashback or two. Well, we got a couple flashback scenes. One of them was used and it actually gave us context. So like, when you get a little bit of exposition, like that works. And if they were going to do like a clip show as like a means to like fill us in on everything, like that could have been creative, but that's not what they're doing.
No, only one of them is.
That's like, Community is another show that famously they always did clip shows of stuff that never happened on the show, or just stuff you've seen when you weren't that happened when you weren't watching the show. It's just weird to do in your first episode.
But here they're doing it in episode 1, or at least telling us they're going to do it. And then it's more like this, it's less about the device and it's more about just being weird. So we cut to a little later on and like they're getting the projector ready and they're fidgeting around trying to get the thing to work. And the aunt's like, let me see it. Like, I got this for my confirmation in 1955. And then they go to like set it up and it's not working. And then you get the mom who just starts laughing out of nowhere. And they cut to her and they're like, hey, what are you laughing at? Oh, I was just thinking back to the day where Turner and Uncle Harry had their accident. And Fred jumps up and goes, a flashback. What a perfect device for an anniversary show like this. Much better than the film thing. Honey, you're a genius. So, okay, so we can't do the normal clip. So now we're going to do a flashback scene for the anniversary show. But just like the way she just starts like, oh, we got to pivot. And she just starts laughing like to like bring this up out of nowhere. I know it's all intentional and it's like meant to be odd, but the whole time, and here we're only like, 5-6 minutes into the episode maybe. And I'm like so confused. I don't know what to make of what I'm watching. And I can't even like follow the show because it's so all over the place.
It was like the game.
I don't know what it was like, man. It's really unique. I don't know how many times we can say like we just don't get it. Are we just too dumb? Like, is this like a smart show that like we're just not getting? Maybe
No.
like, is it just?
No, I really want to like. I hate keep saying this, but I really think like the end explains why this episode is not indicative of the show. But with that in mind, it's time to like do this flashback scene.
Say this show's new, like you said, the end's not indicative to the rest of the show. If I'm putting this on and I'm just seeing this, I'm shutting it off, and then they lost a viewer. So you don't get
Right.
that person that gets the end and then watches the second one. Normally, I'd say that would kill the show, but you said it went 3 seasons, which is nuts.
We get to the flashback, and we see a little kid playing with the ball, but we know the story's about Turner, who we see is a giant man. So this is when he was not a giant man, and his uncle is not a fly. And we see the kids playing with the ball. Harry, the uncle, who's in human form, is like just on the phone, and he's like, sounds like he's betting on horses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was baseball.
No, it's definitely horses.
No, actually, if you look it up, it's horse baseball.
Oh, well, that would be something to bet on.
That'd be awesome.
Horse balls?
The only team is the Phillies.
I get it. He's doing that, and his wife walks over. She's like, are you on the phone with your book? He's like, no, it's a wrong number. And that whole thing goes, and she walks off. While he's on the phone, you see Turner like throw a ball, and it goes down to the basement, which is where like the lab is in this house.
By the way, in this scene too, when they go down to that little lab area, you get a very brief shot of the famous meteorite from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, under the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay. The ball goes down the stairs, and it like bounces into something and like sets like an alarm off, which like startles Harry to the point where he finally gets off the phone with his bookie. He's like, oh, hold on there, Tiger. He's like, almost gave your uncle a big heart attack. He's like, oh, what happened to your ball? And he's like, don't worry, we'll go get it. And he like picks him up, and he walks down to the basement, and he like finds the ball. It's like in this big, it looks almost like the big drums where you like brew beer, but like it's almost like, but there's like a door that opens it. It's like a round, it's like a circular phone booth almost.
It's like a play on the like booth from The Fly that transports him in The Fly.
He walks in there with Turner, and he goes to get the ball, and then while he's getting the ball, Turner's just like playing around with buttons that are inside. When he starts pressing the buttons, the door shuts. And as the door's shutting, you just see like the uncle look up. He goes, we're dead. And the door shuts.
That was funny.
I did like that, yeah.
And then mind you, if you were listening, you could hear like a fly the whole time, like in the background. So like a fly had gotten in there at the same time, I guess. Door shuts. We see some like smoke come out of a side of the machine, and the door opens back up. And now we have Turner is the version of Turner that we've already been exposed to now. He's a giant man, but a 4-year-old inside the giant man's body. And Harry turns into the fly with a human head. I can understand why the fly interfered with Harry and he turned into a fly, I guess.
But why did the child
Turn into a ball.
Because he got Harry's DNA.
I think he got Harry's body is maybe what they're going for.
But Harry was like a half of his size. Like
I don't really get it. You know what they also don't do well in this show? I just feel bad for Turner the whole time.
Yes.
And not in like a funny way, like you feel bad for like Jerry or Kevin. Like
because realistically, his situation, like if you take yourself out of it, it's sad. It's a 4-year-old who's in an adult big body. And then also like, I mean, if we're being completely honest here, the way his character is portrayed, he comes off more mentally disabled than he does as a kid.
As you would imagine that a toddler in an adult body would be.
Yeah, so like he's playing it, like the actor's playing that kind of similarly as if he was playing the other way around. The one thing I thought was funny was, if you remember in like the Ninja Turtles cartoon, that's kind of how Baxter Stockman turned into the Fly, was the same, like he got like trapped in the machine with the fly in it and it like merged them. Only he was more human size.
Again, that's how it happened in the Fly. That even Baxter Stockman was a play on the Fly.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah. Well, my brain is more triggered towards Ninja Turtle stuff.
I was gonna say the Fly is like iconic in that. Like there's a lot of tropes that play off of the Fly.
When did the Jeff Goldblum one come out?
90s, I want to say.
After this stuff though, right?
1986.
Oh, really? Jeff Goldblum one was that early?
A year before.
Oh, I was gonna say, because we're talking this in 1990. The Ninja Turtles thing was like early 90s. So I'm like, were those all plays to the original Fly, and then that came out? But I guess the Jeff Goldblum one's probably the one that like really introduced the Fly to everybody then.
Fly directed by David Cronenberg, who they mentioned on this show later.
Actually, they mentioned it right before that. Right before they walk in, he mentions them. I just went past the line because I didn't put 2 and 2 together at the time.
I didn't either. I would have jumped in.
Yeah, because he went, Mother of Mercy, I feel like a big player in a David Cronenberg movie. And he goes, he's a Canadian director. Anyways, the door opens and they're in their new forms. And Turner's like, Uncle Harry? And then Harry, who's now a fly, is like, oh, don't panic. At least you still got a big future. Texas Longhorn big. He's thinking like, now this kid can play football or something. He's like, on the other hand, I'm sitting here on this little red ball with this uncontrollable urge to cruise down to a dump and nibble on some big rotting hunk of cantaloupe. Fortunately, Joe's not here to talk about cantaloupe, one of his favorite foods.
It's the skin for Joe, which is weirder than just not liking cantaloupe.
Joe?
No.
Joelope?
Cantaloupe.
There it is. So, flashback ends.
Gordo doesn't get the reference, which is even funnier.
Nope.
Well, fuck that movie.
Jay doesn't get the reference either because he was in jail when we saw it.
I forgot about that.
I think this came up in a past episode. So, I mean, I guess like the short version is we were all going to go see Club Dread, yada, yada, yada. I end up in jail. They all go to the movie while I'm in jail.
What were we supposed to do?
So I didn't see that movie for a long time. And then afterwards, I think I've always just had a resentment towards the movie.
Also, the circumstances to getting arrested that night were so funny because there was a physical altercation happening and Jay was 200 yards away from it and got arrested somehow.
Serving the peace.
Disturbing the peace because he was just yelling. The people fighting, no problem. Jay yelling, jail.
I'll say this. I was 17 at the time, by the way. This is 22 years ago. When I went to court and they read the police report, now, mind you, I'm only yelling because a friend of mine's getting into a fight with someone and I'm just angry and just yelling and talking shit or whatever. The way that it was worded in the police report was like, I'm not exaggerating. They said women and children were outside of their homes with like parents holding their kids' ears. I'm like, who wrote this shit? Like, this is so clearly fake. Like, I wish there was video of me in court with my mouth open as I'm hearing these words for the first time. Like,
what happened with that? Like, how did it pan out? I forget.
So, I got put on what was called like pre-trial probation, which was basically I'm 17. I just got in trouble for yelling essentially. And it's like, come back in 3 months. If you don't get in any trouble in the next 3 months, we'll throw it out. And that's what happened. So you're not on like official probation.
Yeah. Which I
have been on later in life. But yeah, so you just don't get in trouble. You show back up. I get a wacky past. So anyways, flashback ends. Everybody's in the living room laughing at the story, except for Turner, who's notably upset and runs off. And they're all like, Turner, where you going? And they're like, oh, he probably thinks everybody's laughing at him.
Which they were.
Well, they're not laughing at him. They're laughing at what happened to him.
They actually, I think the dad does a good job of explaining this later. Like he tries to explain it to him in a way.
Really?
Well, you know what I mean. But like, I get what he was trying to say. He just couldn't explain it. He ended up having to explain it to himself, the kid. But
yeah. So Tina's like, oh, maybe I should go up and talk to him. And the mom's like, oh, thanks, honey, but I really think your father should do it. He's like, me? What? He's like, I'm so bad with this stuff. He's like, you know, when he gets, I kind of fall apart. And his wife's saying like, you have a way with Turner. And then says, this is your A material. He's like, all right, well, if I'm not back in an hour, send in reinforcements.
And apparently then he just does impressions to the kid.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a second.
I wish they did a little more with him being like so massive. Like have him have like super strength or something. So like his tantrums, which are little kids' tantrums, like break shit.
Give
stuff
me
like
the
that.
Fred Munster.
large baby is what they wanted. Large baby is what they got.
But that's, yeah, like he gets upset and runs off. We get a little strength stuff later. But yeah, like have him like stomp and break the floor before he runs up. Like something to make this show a little bit more supernatural, you know?
No, we just get supernatural Duke.
Duke or natural.
Yeah, all right. Well, so he runs off and everyone's like, poor thing. Yeah, I feel kind of bad for the little heifer, which I thought was also not nice. And
he's going to be a Longhorn. He's going to be a Longhorn. heifer, longhorn, cow.
True.
Well, it wasn't that he was. And well, anyways, they're all sitting there feeling bad for him, and then the aunt just like looks at the camera and then says, "The Maniac Mansion 10th anniversary special will return after these commercial messages." It's just So
Yeah, why? Again, why?
it's all like a fever dream, like this whole thing. The next scene we see Fred and he's trying to get into Turner's room, but Turner's like this is where we get him with like a little bit of the strength thing where like he's just holding the door shut with his one arm, and on the other side we can see Fred like trying with his full body to get in but can't like budge the door at all.
I took that as like he's just big and Fred's weak.
Yeah, I mean he's big and strong, but
Well, he is.
he's trying to get in. Turner's not letting him, so he just keeps trying to do different impressions to trick Turner to let him in, he's like, Turner, this is Bing Crosby.
Because 4-year-olds in 1987 loved.
Yeah, even in 1990, like a 4-year-old is too young to like know or care about Bing Crosby. He's already aged out of it. As I think about this, I was 4 in 1990, so as I'm putting 2 and 2 together for the first time in lifetime. Yeah, so I don't remember when I was 4 being super into Bing Crosby. Then he does Gregory Peck, and then his third one, I couldn't even understand what he was saying.
I thought it was Robert Redford.
Was it?
R.I.P.
Yeah,
Was the third one supposed? I'm going to assume you're wrong.
No, basically.
look at the script.
Oh, you think that's readily available?
No.
I don't think they knew who he was supposed to be because it's the only one he didn't announce beforehand.
But every time he's doing a new impression, he's being met with no's. I'm not opening the door. And then finally he says, "Come on, we weren't laughing at you, little guy. We wouldn't do that. We love you too much. Please open the door." Turner finally lets him in. They sit on the couch together, or on the bed rather. Turner's like, "I don't like when people laugh at me." He's like, "No." He's like, "Look." He's like, "Listen to Daddy." He's like, We were laughing. I'll give you that. But we were laughing because we thought it was funny. Not that it was funny, because it wasn't. And certainly not because you were funny. And we weren't as well supposed on the reverse opposed, which would make it an insult. And then it wouldn't be here talking to you because, you understand. So Nick, you were right. He said it pretty well.
I want the motivational speech like above you with just the words and like clouds as you're saying that.
By the way, have you looked into what else, like some of Turner's other roles?
No.
No.
So most famously from our youth, he was the voice of Beast in the X-Men animated series.
Oh, and the one that ran at like the same time?
Yeah.
I like that.
1992 to 97, and he reprised his role in X-Men 97, which came out last year.
Oh, cool. Good to see Turner getting some work still.
He was also Dubar in The Adventures of Sinbad.
Nice.
Wrenches of Sinbad?
Yeah, not the comedian.
I wish it was just playing Sinbad the comedian.
We still haven't done the Sinbad show, yeah.
You said wrenches?
What?
The Adventures of Sinbad. Adventures.
I thought Jay said the wrenches of Sinbad.
I thought you didn't know who Sinbad was.
I do. He's a comedian.
Right, yeah. That's Sinbad. From the Genie movie Shazam.
You're a history dude, too. I mean, it's not real, but you don't know, like, the OG Sinbad? Like the Arabian Nights?
Yeah. Okay. Lawrence of Arabia?
British Beatlemania.
I was about to do it. And then I wanted to follow through and I couldn't remember the next line.
It's Old Miss John Glenn.
Lisbon Beats Patterson.
Bay of Pigs Invasion.
Oh, you fucked up, Gordo.
No, I didn't.
It was right. I was impressed you knew the part you knew, and then Bay of Pigs Invasion is later in the song.
Oh, I thought it was that one. Okay, never mind. Moving along.
So anyways, yeah, moving along. We cut downstairs and Idella is playing some home movies on the projector, which I guess she got going. And they're like, "Oh, what's this?" There's like, "Oh, this is a trip I took with my aunts back in 1963. Oh, where'd you go? Dallas, Texas." And she's showing them, "Those are my aunts.
Joe would love this scene.
We just found this lovely grassy knoll and decided to have a picnic." but there were just too many people. And then like in the background, you could see like, this is when JFK got shot. So Casey, who's the mom, is like watching and she like realizes that and her face just goes cold. The aunt's like, look at me. I was a real card back then. And Casey's like, you said no one's ever seen this footage, right? She's like, no, not to my knowledge. Why? No reason. Because when you're watching, you can see like a bag get handed off and like something like it all like plays into like the idea that there's more to JFK's death.
The second gunman on the grassy knoll.
Yeah. And I thought that was a fun little.
I thought they did it well too. Like the video was like perfect. Like it really looked like that they filmed at that point in time. Like it was crazy.
I will say in the entirety of the episode, this was the thing I thought landed the best and was the funniest.
It was funny because it was weird funny.
Well, no, everything's weird funny in this episode, but this I thought was good because they're being very obvious about what's going. They're not throwing it in your face, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's very obvious what it is, and they're not assuming you're an idiot, and they're just leaving it at that. Dallas, Grassy Knoll, 1963, you get it. There's no, like, added line to be like, and just in case you don't get it, here's the obvious giveaway, you know? So I like that.
Respect your audience intelligence.
So now they're all sitting there. Something happens with the projector again. And like, some anniversary show. Harry, the fly, is like, anything else? Anyone else have a quick story or anything? Mom, Casey's like, wait, I think I have one about when I first met Fred's parents. And she starts explaining, like, I remember the night like it was yesterday. And like, you start getting the wavy flashback. She goes, wait, hold on. I'm not finished with the setup yet. And the flashback waves stop. And then she continues on and goes, you see, your father and his father were quite different. And your dad really wanted me to make a good impression. I don't think I've ever seen him as nervous as that night. And then she looks at the camera and goes, now. And then you get the boo, and the flashback starts all over again. And we cut to her and Fred having dinner with Fred's parents in like the 60s or whatever.
I would be curious to hear what Joe's thoughts are on this scene.
The dinner scene?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. Because I feel like this is something Joe would...
I was going to say, I would have said, like, of all the things that I think would have triggered Joe, there's so many things that have happened already. The JFK thing, I thought he would have been really big on. There's a couple other references earlier that it was like, oh, I wish Joe was around for that. This, not so much this scene, but hey, if you're curious as to what he thought.
I'm just saying, Dad, super horny over Joyce.
Oh, it's true. Joe does love horny dads.
He does.
You joke, but he does.
He does. Fun fact, Joyce wrote love letters about farts.
Is that a real thing?
Yes. Yeah, you look it up. It's a historical thing.
But I'll go against my better judgment and take your word for it, though.
Yes, he's mentioned farts in his literature works and his letters to his wife.
We get to the dinner scene, and it's quiet and awkward. We see them younger, but it's the same actors just playing their younger selves, so they just kind of do them up with like time-appropriate clothing and stuff. Fred's like, more wine, father? Like, wine doesn't quench a thirst. Water? Like, if you can afford it, and then she gets up to get some water. And like they're like just uppity, like really like tight people, his parents. So it's like, oh, it's so seldom we've had white wine with beef. I know I'm not a wine drinker, Nick. I know you once were, but I had always heard it's like red wine was supposed to go with like steaks and stuff, correct?
Wine, red wine actually goes with beef. White wine typically goes with lighter meals like chicken and pork and fish, typically.
I didn't understand the if you can't afford it joke about the water.
I didn't either.
Yeah, like you could tell they look down on them as like in general, but yeah, that I don't know if that was the play. Although I guess if like that's how low they think of them, can you even afford water?
They're affording wine.
That's true. They're talking about like the last time it was like, oh, you remember the last time? And they were in Paris. He's like, I had to get the Heimlich from a young Asian chap. He doesn't say Asian. He says a different word that doesn't get used anymore.
A type of rug.
Type of rug, yeah. although I'm not even being like, I'm not going to get into this extended conversation that will eventually get me in trouble. I will say though, like in the 90s, I don't think that was even remotely considered something that was like a bad word to say.
Nope, that definitely flew.
So the word itself isn't a bad word. It's only if you use it towards a person.
Towards a person, yes. But I feel like that was something that I was not made aware of until like much later in life. Like I was probably like in my 30s when I was first told that. I went, oh shit, I legit didn't know. And I'm pretty on top of that stuff.
He's supposed to be what, the grandson of Ed from the game, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the grandson of Fred.
Fred from the game. So does that make the dad that we meet right now Crazy Ed? I'm sorry, Weird Ed?
It doesn't seem very weird. I feel like they've, as we've seen, like people who draw any comparisons is just like people grasping to try to make sense of the fact that this is called Maniac Mansion.
That's me. Grasp.
Yeah. So is he? Probably not. Is he supposed to be? Probably.
Yeah, he's not even blue. Stupid show.
Casey comes back with some water and they're trying to make small talk with her. It's like, hey, I understand you like the written word. Fred's like, yeah, she reads everything, Father. Casey's a walking library, aren't you? I thought it was really awkward the way he's playing his younger self, but he's playing it so odd.
Yeah, I don't understand the direction he's going with the character in this flashback.
He's like, I get being nervous like with your parents in the moment, but he's not, I don't know. I guess he's just not playing nervous the right way. So Casey does say, well, I have a degree in English literature. I'm like, oh, really? I understand most of you people are leftists. Which one of the communist authors do you like the best, dear? It's like, well, I don't know what his politics were, but I've always enjoyed Joyce. They ask her like, oh, well, can you like tell us a little bit? She starts, what's this, the Moorish Wall or whatever, the Kiss from Under the Moorish Wall. I don't know if that's the name of it or whatever, but she starts going through it and she's reading it and, well, she's reciting from memory a lot. And it's a lot about like, you know, painting the setting of them kissing and all this. And you could feel my breasts and of perfume, all this stuff. And while she's reading it, she's reciting it again. She's saying it to Fred, and Fred's getting like, I don't know if he's nervous because it's in front of his parents or if he's getting horny.
A little bit of both.
Horny.
But he's like, he's like getting all worked up. And then like they cut over to the parents and the mom's like mouth open and like really into what she's saying. And then it ends and it's really awkward and quiet for a second. And the mom's like, I love the potatoes. Was it the cheddar that got you going? I don't know what that meant.
I feel like she's just trying to change the subject.
Yeah, I feel like she is. I feel like she's just trying to say that the cheddar make you horny.
But why would you ask that?
Cheddar make you horny, baby.
You can bring up the potatoes, but like, why would you be like, was it the cheddar that got you all worked up?
I mean, cheddar is good. Have you ever had a good cheddar?
I love cheddar.
She's always walking around with a cheddar boner. It's weird.
Half ched.
I think cheddar doesn't get enough credit when it comes to burgers.
I do cheddar on a lot of stuff.
Everyone defaults American a lot.
I love cheddar. Cheddar doesn't love me. Oh man, I could murder a whole brick of sharp cheddar, but even a few bites of it, my stomach doesn't love.
So I did do a little bit of digging. Here. James Joyce, famous writer who really enjoyed farts. I have a letter from him to his dearest Nora. If you would like me to give a little bit of.
Yeah,
he was quite filthy and dirty. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll read this. I'll start here. I felt your fat, sweaty buttocks under my belly, and I saw your flushed face and mad eyes. At every fuck I gave you, your shameless tongue came bursting out through your lips, and if I gave you a bigger, stronger fuck than usual, fat, dirty farts came sputtering out of your backside. You had an arse full of farts that night, darling, and I fucked them out of you. Big fat fellows, long windy ones, quick little merry cracks, and a lot of tiny little naughty farties, ending in a long gush from your hole.
Now,
Wow.
is that from his letter, Dirty Little Fuckbird?
Yes, it is.
I hate that you read that. I love that I have that audio. I'm just gonna. I just want to call your family members and just play random
Play
quotes.
Listen,
Michael?
yeah, I'll give you this one. I think I would know Nora's farts anywhere. I think I could pick hers out in a room full of farting women. It is a rather girlish noise, not like the wet, windy fart, which I imagine fat wives have. It is sudden and dry and a little dirty, like what a bold girl would let off in fun in a schoolroom dormitory at night. I hope my Nora will let off no end of her farts in my face so that I may know their smell also.
So he has a fart fetish.
Absolutely.
I would say that's clear. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
that's interesting.
That is very interesting. Famous writer on this show can tie in with actual.
This is probably the only time you've successfully roped this in a way that I couldn't try to block it as soon as possible because it was actually pertinent to what was happening.
Literary farts.
Yeah.
1909. Over 100 years ago.
And our famous author in the group also loves farts.
I do love farts, but I do not like to be farted on.
You heard it here first, folks.
I have no follow-up questions.
I am not writing these letters to my wife.
He writes him the doodle.
As you lick my feet.
Anyways, after all this, you see the father who's a very kind of stern, looks like a very conservative man. He just asks his wife, like, what are these passages from? What book? Ulysses? And then he goes, learn it. So,
And what's the I'll have what she's having moment?
Dad must have also had some cheesy potatoes or whatever.
Some cheddar bake, some cheddar potatoes.
And flashback ends. We cut back to Fred and Turner, and he's still trying to explain to him the situation from earlier. It's like, you were laughing because you didn't want to? He's like, no, let me try again. So like he's been trying to explain to him this whole time what was going on. He starts again, and he's like, look, we're a family. We do everything together, like communicating. And Turner's like, what's that? He's like, forget communicating. We like playing games and eating and laughing. Yeah, laughing, exactly. We laugh together because we love each other. Yes, because we love each other. And then Turner gives his dad a big hug, to the point where he's almost breaking him.
At least right there, you see a little of the strength with the hug.
Yeah, he's like basically about to like black out because, he's got him in such a bear hug.
I would have liked a little more of that. But we already talked
Me
about
too.
that.
Little Herman Munster.
So we cut back downstairs, and now it's like the home movie situation. And the aunt's going like, all right, ready, lights. And the machine gets turned on, and then it starts smoking and like pops. It's like, that's it. I give up. I've seen enough sprockets for one night. And that's when Fred and Turner come back and join everybody. Like, oh, hey, sweetie, feeling better? Yeah, me and Dad had a man talk. Like, all right, come here, little guy, join the family. And then everyone's sitting together. It's like, I like it when everyone's home. Yeah, well, who needs a big fancy dinner scene just to celebrate being a family, right? And I like there, even again, I don't want to say like there, but flag there. Again, they said scene. You know what I mean? It's being very noted that, like,
Yeah.
they could have said, who needs a big fancy dinner? But they had to mention that it's not a real thing. To the point where you're like, are they even supposed to be a real family in the show? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's apparently not meant to be gotten in this episode.
I don't think it's meant to be analytically analyzed like we do.
No, well, I think you're supposed to understand what's going on.
No,
this
you're
one,
supposed to enjoy it too.
Yeah. There's shows where we go like, hey, this isn't meant to be like deep dive the way we do it, but this is like as just a common viewer without even like really getting into the ins and outs, because anything supernatural-ish or spooky, like you take with a little bit of a grain of salt. But here it's just like structurally, this whole thing makes no sense.
Yeah.
So it's constant fourth wall breaks, and they constantly mention that they're in a show and that there's scenes and that they're filming. So like, so are they actors or are they a real family? It's like, and it never really clicks. But anyways, Casey gives Fred a kiss here. He's like, what's that for? That's for 3 great kids. And then she kisses him again. And that's for 10 great years on the air. And then Fred turns to the camera and starts talking to us and goes, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I don't usually step out of character, but this being our 10th anniversary special, there are a lot of very wonderful people I'd like to thank. My lovely TV family on Maniac Mansion, the terrific crew, and mostly I'd like to thank you, our faithful viewers, for making Maniac Mansion #1 in your heart. And a consistent 48 in the ratings. Brad, good night, everybody. And then you cut to Casey waking up Brad in real life, who's been asleep at his desk the entire time.
Yeah, they Mario 2'd us.
Yeah, we find out that this whole thing was a dream.
I mean, so part of me was like, oh, okay, at least this makes sense now, or maybe will make sense now, you know, moving forward. But then the bigger part of me was like, fuck you. Like, don't do this on the first episode. This doesn't make any sense. It's way too confusing. I have a feeling this show is probably confusing anyways, like even without this little fucking wrench in the gears for the first episode. But don't do that, man. Just, I can't believe this show. This show must have been like greenlit before it ever aired.
Yeah, yeah. It was like given to like Eugene Levy, like develop this show. We want to make this show. And I want to talk about this, but I just want to like get this last thing out real quick because there's a little bit of dialogue once he wakes up, and he's like, "Oh, I had the most bizarre dream. I dreamt the whole family started its own show, and your name was Casey. My name is Casey." And he's like going over all this stuff, and we have our 10th anniversary special, and it kind of ends with like, "Oh, you're just, you know, you're being crazy. Like, you know, let's go. Like, it's time for you to go to bed." And then she goes, "Besides, let's get through the first year before we start looking ahead for another 10, making another meta joke about how it's a show." So he wakes up from the dream, but she's still letting us know this is a show.
It's funny, too, because for what we do here, the possibility of us watching the wrong episode is not only possible, but it's happened before. Like, the wrong episode, it was available, or, you know, one of us watched it a different way or something. So now I'm at the end of the episode after questioning it at the beginning of the episode, and they're still doing this 10-year anniversary thing. I'm like, this isn't really it, right? Like, and I was like, they would have said something in the chat if this was wrong.
The first couple minutes into watching the show, I got into like, oh fuck mode, and check the air date, check the title of the show, like made sure I was like, this is definitely the first episode, right? Yeah, because like this whole thing, and this is like, again, from the beginning when we're like, we have to kind of wait for the end to reveal this. The whole thing's a dream, whatever. And it's all like this weird meta, like it's the show within the show, and he's having a dream about the 10th anniversary. Terrible way to intro the show, because the show's already weird in nature, and then you're getting weird about how you're presenting it. From what I understand, and I haven't seen anything else, but like roughly looking into it, like the rest of the show like does have fourth wall breaks and stuff, but it's a little bit more structured. If I'm watching a first episode of a show, and this is, I mean, what we do, right? We're judging every show by just its first episode. It's why we exist as a podcast. I want to know what the show is going to look or feel like to some degree. Like, I get origin stories are sometimes a little different.
For the wrong reason, though.
This is like not what every episode's going to be like. So I'm leaving this episode so fucking confused about how everything was. I don't know what's going on. It was structured not the way the other episodes are going to be structured. So I don't know what I just watched. And this isn't giving me any type of indication of like whether or not I would like future episodes.
This is the Twin Peaks of sitcoms.
You know, I've never seen Twin Peaks.
It's weird.
I have no idea.
I've seen
about
bits and pieces. I don't like it. It's fucking weird. And some people seem to fucking love it.
I just think that this, if you want to throw in a weird episode like this has to be mid-season or not at all. Like, you can't start us off with this episode 1. It was just, we didn't know who anyone was. We didn't know the vibe of the show. The whole time I'm scratching my head, and I exited this show with more questions, and not in like a fun, curious way. Like, I still don't know, like, are they actors? Are they supposed to be a family? I don't know. I just thought the whole thing was a mess. The reveal at the end that the whole thing was a dream explains pieces of what we saw, but not enough to make me go, oh, cool. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't work that way. It made me angry that they took that approach for the first episode.
Like at this point, knowing a dream, is the uncle really a fly? Is the son a big man baby? Like, what was real? I don't know.
So I think that it would have been the way that they did the episode would have been fine if they took out the horn dog scene, right? And they instead made that the wake up scene, right? And then you can get one more kind of extended ending where you can see how the real world looks in comparison to his dream world. And then I think that would have made up for it a little bit better.
I don't know if
I don't know, but
I don't necessarily agree. What I would have did, if we're going to run this same weird format and make it so it's still what it is, that scene with the parents, I would have also taken that out, but I would have at least subbed that in with another instance of some sort of a weird science thing or like something that aids to the spooky theme that the show's supposed to have. Because that's not, other than the fact that like they turned into a giant man baby and a fly, nothing else about this show
Is weird.
It's only weird because it's awkward. It's not like supernatural weird or anything like that.
Not to keep talking about the video game, but the video game's got it's got the sentient meteor. It's got tentacles that are walking around and talk and make jokes. It's got a giant plant that burps and all this other stuff. A mummy.
I think this is where they went wrong. So they had the idea to make the show, and I guess they had even drawn out a lot of what they wanted. And again, the intention was to make it like more of an Addams Family Monsters type show. And then they go to Eugene Levy with it, and he's like, I don't really want to do that. And they're like, you know what? That's fine. Do whatever you want. And I think that's where they should have just went, you know what? We're just not looking the same way at what we want the show to be. Like, maybe like we'll work again in the future. But like to then give him the reins to just totally change what the base material was and the intent of the show, and to just go completely rogue and to have just a quasi in the lowest degree spooky show that was more just your regular sketch comedy meta weird shit, like it didn't pan out. And Eugene Levy's hilarious. He's like Schitt's Creek we covered forever ago, you know what I mean?
He's
like,
hilarious now.
He's hilarious now,
yeah. 35 years ago though, maybe
Well, he was successful then. He got this opportunity because he's hilarious.
But this was just I think it wasn't the right fit. They wanted to make a Maniac Mansion show, and they went up to him and he's like, cool, great opportunity to make a show, but I don't really want to make that, so I'm going to make my own thing and we're just going to call it that.
Honestly, it's Lucas Arts. They couldn't have gotten somebody under George Lucas.
They couldn't have gotten George Lucas.
I think he was a little busy with Star Wars stuff. That's why I said somebody under him. At least someone in that camp.
He's like in a Star Wars break right now. We're not even at
No,
the
he's in
yet.
Indiana Jones at this point, isn't he?
Yeah, Indiana Jones is.
But didn't
is
Spielberg direct that?
Spielberg directed, George Lucas wrote, or is that correct?
I think you're right, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, this was just, this is obviously not to tip our hats here, but I just thought this whole dream sequence, not letting us know what the show really is meant to be in episode 1, is just this weird, unnecessary misdirect, which is, I think, them overthinking comedy.
Yeah, now I kind of want to go back and play the video game to see how bad this was.
It makes me want to see another episode for the contrast, but not in a green light cancel type. I want to see another episode. It makes me want to see another episode just because, is the show completely different after episode 1?
Yeah.
With all that in mind, though, might as well just get into the green light or cancel. Again, Joe's not here. His score will be added to a graphic that we will post later on our social medias. I do not think it's going to be any type of tiebreaker. With that in mind, Ferg, starting with you.
Yeah, it's a cancel from me. I love the video game. I've played it recently. It's a great game. It's not that my love for the video game is influencing this choice. It's just not great. They took a big swing, and I respect that, but they flew too close to the sun, and it's just weird, and not in a good way. It being a dream at the end meant everything we just watched didn't matter, because we don't know what's real or anything. It makes me want to see the next episode, like Jay said, but not for the right reasons. I probably will check it out, but it's still a cancel for me.
Gordo.
Yeah, like Ferg, I'm going to cancel it. It was just weird. It was just very, very weird. Too fourth wall breaking. And like you guys, I want to see episode 2, but not because I want to watch it, just because I want to see it, right? And so I don't know if that actually qualifies that as green light, because technically I do want to see episode 2, but for the wrong reasons. Like, I want to hate watch it.
I struggled with that for my green light and cancel too.
You're watching this in real time, but you know what? I'm gonna greenlight it because I want to watch episode 2, but I hated this show. Like, I want to hate watch this show, but it is making me come back for episode 2 just so I can get what I was supposed to get in episode 1, which is, what the fuck is this show? It sucks. I don't want to, but it is a green light because of that, because I do want to see episode 2, which I guess technically it did its job. So, very bad green light.
Nick.
Yeah, green light. It was, pretty consistently funny. I liked the character chemistry. They all worked really well together. The pacing was great. I thought it flowed really well. Whoa, sorry, I just woke up. I had a dream I greenlit this piece of shit show. This is a cancel. This is the worst fucking show, man. Like, how did you build this show, go through all the steps, film it, and then release this, especially as the first episode? This is such a bad look for... I mean, you're playing your fans on the first episode. I don't know what the hype for this show might have been like leading up to it, but like, anybody who was ready for this show, I imagine, was upset at this way this ended, the way this episode ended, in the same way that we were. Any chance that this show may have had at a green light, which was not much, was blown away at the last scene and the way they did that. The way Ferg explained it as a meaning that like the whole episode doesn't matter, is the biggest takeaway from this, because now you've wasted a portion of your night in the early 90s watching this show, and now it doesn't mean anything. And now you have to go watch the next episode. Or you don't have to. I'm not going to watch the next episode. I don't even want to curiosity watch this, because fuck you for doing something so weird and ridiculous. You completely detached yourself from the main, like the video game. Like the point of the story is gone. It's all gone. Everything is bad. I hate this show so much. Cancel, cancel, cancel.
So, Nick, at first I'm like, what the fuck? I did not know this was going to be a tiebreaker with Joe. No, I'm also canceling it. Like I said, Gordo, I do also want to see another episode for the contrast, because I want to see if it's a little structured differently, but not in a way that I can still justify giving it a green light. I will watch it, but still comfortably cancel. They failed to tell us what the show is supposed to be, if I'm assuming correctly. This weird version of a flashback, dark, awkward storytelling thing, it just didn't work for me. I don't understand. Like, we have the name for this property, and we're just using the name to get people to look at it. Oh, Maniac Mansion, I know that game. Like, that's all you're getting out of it, but then you didn't use anything from the game.
Hey, remember how excited I was when I found out there was a Maniac Mansion sitcom?
Yes.
I'm so let down.
Yeah, so it's, and I get it, like, you drift away from parts of it. Like, it's never like anytime like there's an adaptation for a movie or a show or whichever way it goes, like there's going to be things that are different. But like when you're just basically using the name just to use the name and that's it, like, why bother? And I don't even play games. Like, I don't even know if I've ever played that game. I probably did at Gordo's when we were kids. But yeah, no, it's just a waste. And again, I just hate the way they set up episode 1. It just seemed completely unnecessary to me. I was confused the entire time. It was very awkward. I can't greenlight it. So with that in mind, only 1 out of 4. So sorry to Maniac Mansion. Not that sorry. But you do not live on to see another episode. Regardless, Joe's score will be added to anything that you will see on our social media, which you can find at S1E1pod.com. It's going to be where you find all the links to all those things. Follow us Rate, review, subscribe on all the platforms where you listen to us because that does help us out. Hit us up. Let us know shows that you want us to cover in the future or any just general comments if you want to talk to us. We like interacting with you guys. So with that all in mind, stay tuned for next week, week 3 of Spooky Dookie 5. And that's it for now. So until then, thank you. Goodbye.
We didn't get the best anything. We didn't get the best.
I think we got the worst Maniac Mansion.